That's not as bizarre as me getting a mystery email.
I still don't know. I
An email
honestly,
I have never given to anybody.
That's meant to be.
Yeah.
right?
If that's not a kick in the.
Well, I was told my angels made sure I got that.
Oh,
Like, okay.
that's awesome. Yeah, because I went back and tried to find like where I would have found you, and I was like, nope, don't know. I said it's mining the internet.
Divine intervention.
Yeah, meant to be.
So I'm Brooke, and this is Karen. So, so I think a lot of you know like my story, or I think some of you watched it on the past taped versions too. But so Karen and I met. We'll just fast forward to that. So we met when we both discovered that we were creating directories. So we both had a passion for helping to organize healers in this world, and we came together with these two directories and kind of bumbled with two directories and how do we make this work for a while, and then decided to go with Soella, which is the one that Karen had started. And then we also decided to add in the community aspect with the Healers Unite. So we have these meetings, and then we have a social network space that is online. It's just getting off the ground. Diane here online, she found it, and she was messaging me. So I'm like, okay, it's getting there. It's getting exciting.
She just found it?
I think she was recommended to it, but that would be really funny. Just like, stumbled upon
I'd be
it.
very
But
excited. Is the
Right?
actually found it
Is
already.
it Diane that does language?
I think that's Diane Stacka. Or
yeah, maybe.
do you do light language, Diane Reiser?
Do I do what?
Diane.
Oh, hang
There
on.
was somebody here last time.
Yeah, that's
Raise the
that.
volume.
Yeah.
Diane Stokes, maybe some.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I met her up to the ferry for it.
Yeah, so that's kind of how we got started. And then this is our fourth meeting, I think.
Mhm.
Yeah. So we're cycled back to this is where we started, and then we've gone to a couple different places, and they're back here. So the goal is to, I said, get the community together of healers, and we're trying to kind of build. We'll kind of go into that, I guess, like kind of build a network of healers and lots of different goals
That's
that we'll
nice.
go into.
To help each other out. Like,
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
teamwork makes the dream work. Yes, absolutely.
And we're thinking, okay,
Because I
Yeah.
like to do what I do full time.
Yes,
I think that the
absolutely.
universe has made me stop what I work in to do it. So I'm like, okay, I got to figure this out.
kind of where we are too is that when what kind of the backstory too, like I said, I had gone through this IET training, equivalent as like a Reiki type training. Came out of that, I said I didn't really have anybody to practice with, so I couldn't really find people to network with in that way. And then also just trying to get started building a website and developing social media and trying to get all of that stuff is just absolutely exhausting and like complicated to do. And I think that like when Karen and I met, we both kind of had the same thought that, we need to make this easier for people. So especially because we're predominantly women, doing this like alongside another job or, trying to make it work so that we can like replace the job or something to that effect. And, just understanding all of the steps necessary to get there. Just we realized that there's a need for people to have more organizations. So that's kind of where we started. Is that a good summary?
Yes, that's a very good summary.
So if we want to just because we're still trying to get to know each other in the community. So if we just want to go around and introduce ourselves, we'll just tilt the camera over so you guys can see you guys over here. Okay, we'll just do this.
And then the corner.
It's very unprofessional. So yeah. I'm Yoli.
Mia, how you doing?
Well, we can just do like your name and like just what practice or what healing methodologies you use, if you want to. And Yoli's our featured healer today, so she's gonna go into that a lot more.
Yeah. Okay, I'm a certified life coach and human design specialist, and
Photographer.
And photographer. I think I'm gonna go
That's
with
your
that.
Yeah,
Yes,
welcome.
Sorry to wait just in case any more.
Oh, no, cool.
My human job? No, my human job is mortgage underwriting.
What a change.
It's like I learned very quickly, when you're out at these events and you meet people, even though I did like casual things, not necessarily business or networking. I always like, well, what do you do? I would always lead with my job.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh,
That's
that's yeah. We don't want to I don't want to keep perpetuating that.
Right.
So obviously a business.
How'd you get into human design?
Oh, that's kind of a long story, but about 5 years ago now, it was introduced to me with a coach that I was working with, a business coach. That I was working with for photography. I stumbled into coaching because I was looking for ways to be of more value to my photography clients, like with more confidence and so forth behind the camera. And I stumbled into it and just kind of dove in head first, and reconnected with human design again.
Discovered you.
Yeah, it kind of. So in my coaching journey, as I was trying to navigate how this was going to work for me, how I was going to run this as a practice, I kept feeling like something was missing, like there's something I hadn't connected yet. And so I studied ontological coaching and through the ICF core competencies. And I got introduced to another modality, NLP, so I'm certified in NLP, and along with neural energetic encoding and neural energetic wiring, hypnosis, and
Wow.
EFT. And breath work. And then, so anyway, after all of that, I reconnected with human design again. So this is the third time.
Yeah, it brought you there all the time. Yeah.
I bring it back to human design. And that was like the glue, I say, that hold all of it together. And so like at this point, at the third time around, I dove in head first and
It felt good.
never looked back.
Right on. Right on, right on. Great. I don't have any certificates and nothing. 5 years ago, and most people that I speak to, it's about 5 years ago. I'm gonna say COVID took everybody out. I'm a single mom of 4 kids. I mean, I got a good story. You know, everybody does. Everybody's got a pain they went through that woke them up, you know.
Yeah.
I think COVID got me off the. I had no choice but to stop and get off the hamster wheel and see myself, and then all sorts of stuff happened. So then I went down the rabbit hole of Instagram
Oh goodness.
and internet and all that to see what exactly was going on with me. And recently, the most closest I've got to is that I look like I'm a Heyoka empath, but I didn't get hit by lightning. You got to get hit by lightning.
Oh
it looks
really?
like. But pretty much, yeah. What I do is that I bring everybody into the now.
Oh,
I step into your real you, and we hang out, and the whole game of it stops for a second, and you through me. I'm like a telephone. I listen to you, and you tell you where you're stuck, where your energy's not flowing, because once you're in your flow, everything comes to you, and that's the truth. Yeah.
What was your name?
Mia.
Mia.
Hi,
Okay.
everybody. I know my sound weird. Whatever.
We've all
I feel like
decided we
if
are
there's
all.
ever a place where you.
That's what I
everybody
said,
understands
yeah.
Exactly what you're
I
saying.
grabbed my jacket and I said, I'm going with some weird. So yeah, that's
why we're
what
here.
I do. I did with tarot cards, but you don't really need tarot cards. Just to let you know. Tarot cards is the human needs to touch it. That's how I feel. Yeah. Sorry.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. We'll move it around this way.
Yeah, just quick little summary.
Got it.
All right, you do.
My name is James. I am a certified shamanic practitioner. I got certified 2 years ago and really started that journey just out of my own healing journey, just of wanting to. I'd been to talk therapy, kind of got to the end of the road of that and feeling like, okay, something's still kind of similar to you, like something's still missing. I can just tell that there's an element of my healing that hasn't been tapped into. And so got connected with Chris Crone, who is a healer all around Raleigh and has her face at every one of these kind of metaphysical places. And so called her, and it was like one of those scenarios where originally it took me like a week to call, because I was like, do I want to do this? I'd never heard anything about it, read anything about it. And then completely separately in that week, stumbled across The Shaman's Path, which was written by Chris's teacher.
Oh, wow.
I didn't know that at the time, but I'm reading this book and I just became enthralled with it and was like, this is what I want to do. This is what I think is missing in my journey, but I doubt I'll ever find anybody in Raleigh that's going to help me be able to do this. And then I called Chris and found out that she literally had been trained by this actual guy who wrote the book, you know. So that I went on she's got a year-long training program to become certified. So it was a great healing journey. And then at the end of it, decided to, take it into a community aspect and healing others. And so before that, I had done a lot of meditation and breath work. And so I do a little bit of both, right? I work with people on the shamanic healing side of things with their chakras, and then also on the breathwork side of things. And I'm here every Tuesday.
Oh, yeah.
4 to 7, hanging out. I've been a big fan of the THC store and their whole family since I used to live right down the road. So when they opened up this store, I was like, oh, great. I love these people anyway.
Right.
And now they're doing something really cool. And so it's been fun to be able to be a part of that as well.
Yeah. Thank you.
So awesome. Thank you for sharing your story.
Yeah, absolutely.
And thank you for all the work that you do.
Honor to be here with other healers.
Yeah.
Oh,
I want to hear.
this is kind of funny because I thought I was actually coming to a presentation. I didn't realize I was going to be speaking.
Well,
But-
just a little bit.
Great to be here with all amazing practitioners. My name is Carolyn Sheehan. I've been in this realm for 25 years plus, multiple lifetimes. I'm a hypnotherapist. I teach hypnotherapy, clinical and spiritual, past life regression, not QHHT, Dolores Cannon. Mine's more interpersonal, more organic. All the things, hypnosis, taking you to spirit guides, womb regression, clinical, regular, smoke cessation, stress, anxiety, the whole gamut. I also am an angelic Reiki teacher and practitioner, a Usui Reiki teacher practitioner. This month is my 25th year. So I'm excited about that. So for some who are not aware of angelic Reiki, it's Reiki that's done through the angels and not through the person. It's phenomenal. And so of course, we all run down that rabbit hole of crystal healing and angelic healing and all the things. So I am blessed to be able to be amongst you. I am right down the street. I'm from Color My Spirit,
Okay. Yeah.
Windshine Court.
Nice.
Before that, Sagewood Center, before COVID. Yeah, great place. So yeah, that's me.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing and joining us today.
Thank you.
I live right around the corner from Moonshine Court.
The neighbors.
Yeah, go down Westbrook and then go up to my neighborhood, yeah. So I'm Jennifer Bean, and I am certified in Reiki and Archangelic Light. I'm a Reiki master teacher and a master Archangelic Light and master Sacred Heart Healing. I don't know if any of you, I'm not sure, Diane Henderson taught that. And Yeshua was actually the person that did the attunements for that class. So, I don't think she taught it for very long. It just kind of got channeled to her. I think she might have only taught 2 classes. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, so I've been a seeker my whole life. I started taking these classes back in 2013, and because I went to see Sherry Dillard in December 2012, and she said, "Oh," as I was about to leave the room, she said, "Reiki. You should look into Reiki." So I went and took Reiki I had a Reiki session with Vicki Penninger. Already made it knows her. And then she wasn't that weird. So. Because I just retired in September last year from 42 years in
Wow.
the tech industry.
Wow.
Wow, what a difference.
Congratulations.
Yes, but you
You got a
know,
promotion.
but I could see how I was in training.
Yeah.
Even in those 42 years, because it's really, to me, remarkable how much you can take from corporate life that works in spiritual life too, right? Like owning your own stuff, being responsible for your own stuff, boundaries. I mean, all kinds of lessons there. And so now I have a business where I think last time I talked about my business, I put my itinerary together for my first trip. I'm going to start taking trips to sacred sites around the world.
That's cool.
I'm excited.
And
Wow.
a year, my target is next May to go to England because, you know, there's Stonehenge, Avebury, Glastonbury, Tintagel. There's, I mean, England's just chock full of places. So
You done any yet?
I've been to all these places many times because I used to
Have you
live in
felt the
England.
energy there? I hope I'm not disrupting. I'm
Yes,
curious.
yes, there and a lot in Egypt.
Okay.
But England is a much easier place and less intimidating place to start.
Okay.
But I've been to Egypt 9 times since 2018
That's awesome.
or 2019, yeah.
Right.
And Jordan. And so you can feel this energy, lots of different places, as I'm sure you know, right? So you're not even necessarily places that people think of as sacred. Like Luxor Temple. Every time I go there, something amazing happens to me. In Luxor, England, Luxor, Egypt. But yes, definitely in Stonehenge. I've seen for Texas and all kinds of things there. And so, and Glastonbury, up on top of the tour and different things. So,
When is this again?
where or
When?
when? May 2026. So we're working on but I've got a travel agent here that I've worked with in the past. I'm trying to find a local travel agent to partner with versus going direct to.
I do know somebody who's in their spiritual also.
Okay, well then you can give me their name because I'd rather work with somebody local
Yeah.
than have to go direct to Thomas Cook or an English. I mean, I'm sure they're perfectly fine, but I feel like people that are booking the trips will feel more comfortable if they have an American contact for their travel
That's
agent.
a spiritual one. You know what I mean?
Well, the spiritual one would be interesting.
Yeah, I took a trip last year and had them plan it, and it was they're amazing and they're connected, you know. So
Okay.
yeah, I'll give you.
Well, it seems like because you were saying that you don't have a lot of people to talk to, and you don't have I have found that in my circle, almost everyone is intuitive. All of a
Oh
sudden.
wow.
Yes. Now, this doesn't count when I was at my job, but all of a sudden, the practitioners and the friends and the things that I have attracted into my life,
Very nice.
I have 3 massage therapists. 2 are highly intuitive. And
Nice.
one's pretty intuitive, but yeah, one of them even, I didn't even know she was intuitive when I started going to her. She's just taken Chio's training. So her abilities, and the other one, her abilities last year during the eclipse, it's like, oh my gosh, it's like you're having a reading.
Nice.
So you walk in, your body tells them exactly what to do, and they just do what your body tells them to do. So, yeah. Anyway, so I feel extremely blessed in my life right now. But I also do. So even though I'm a trained healer, I probably have more passion for the spiritual guidance because I've amassed a lot of spiritual knowledge over the years, and the tours. I think that is probably going to end up being the centerpieces for me. So because there's nothing better to me than watching somebody have a breakthrough moment where something that they've carried their whole lives or for 10 years or whatever, all of a sudden gets lifted. That's so powerful to me. It's so rewarding. Mhm. And I'm sure you see that in your.
It's like a tag you're it. That's how I call it.
Yeah.
Your turn for the joy. Now you know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now you know.
Right? So anyway.
I was gonna say I think we should have had this should be a eclipse energy therapy.
Yeah.
On that next time. All right. So I'll just point out people. So Diane, do you want to go first? You're in the upper corner. This one, Diane, right? Yeah.
Sure.
People online.
Hi. I'm Diane. My name is Diane Reiser. I'm a spiritual advisor, originally from Michigan. That was my corporate life world. Was in corporate for about 35 years. And I believe I honed all of my skills in my corporate world because I ran businesses. I was in charge of human resources, hiring, all the above. So all of that kind of honed everything that I do. I moved to Florida for caretaking, and that's where I began to actually formally train and understand my abilities. I always knew I could connect to the other side. I just knew when I met with either my staff or when I did interviews, I always just knew things about people and it was accurate. And provide guidance and see people's kind of their true potential, their future. But I thought everybody did that. My mother was very intuitive and my father was very intuitive. And so I just assumed everybody was like that because us kids got away with nothing that they didn't know about. So I just thought that was sort of a thing. So when I moved to Florida, I started doing my training. That's when I did my very first medium reading. And that's when I realized that I had been talking to spirit, thinking it was just me having conversation. So it started as my grandmother telling me as a child, when my grandmother passed away, I could still talk to grandma. And so I did. I was told I could, so I did. And so because I was so open, in retrospect, I look at this, I go, oh, that's because I was so open to it. Of course I was hearing that. And so I started doing mediumship readings in class and then started working at a store. While I was at that store, I started doing oracle card intuitive readings. I don't memorize anything. I've never been good at memorizing anything. And so everything's intuitive and I believe that's that's what took me through to that point. That's the skill set I developed. So everything has a meaning. So that's, I do card readings and then I evolved as we do. So mediumship, oracle cards. Then I started connecting to people's Akashic records and understanding kind of their path. And I work very closely with, I work with a lot of vintage wisdom kind of thought. That's my oracle cards, but also over time I've realized, I've always been connected to like elderly people and anything that's retro or vintage. And so the guidance that I get is always very connected to that higher knowledge of like our elders. I've connected to, when my father was going and dying, I was connecting through to a lot of different levels. And so what I used to think was, excuse my French, absolute bullshit, turned out to be everything that I do and know and experience. So parents have passed and I moved to North Carolina. I served a lot of clients. I was near the villages in Florida, to back up a little bit. So I had a ton of clients in the villages. So I did Reiki. I was trying to think of all the different things because over time you add things and you develop and you grow and mix and match. So I was trying to think like oracle cards, mediumship, psychic, Akashic records, intuitive empath. I'm very empathic. I can feel everybody's anxiousness and nervousness and all of the above, which is why I'm here and not there. Because it would be even worse. Ellen Morrison knows how it works for me. It's very hard for me to go to groups, and that is what I'm working on currently, is really trying to strengthen that, not the empath part, because I can, it's shutting it off. Because what I also found is through all that I went through over the years, I had built up walls. Right? Traumas, working for a bunch of misogynistic executives, all of those things build up these walls. But ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't figured it out, because I just now am, as you heal, they come off. Those layers come off like onions
Yeah.
peels. And now I'm raw and I feel everything. And
Yeah.
now at least I can identify it. Before I couldn't.
Yeah.
So now I identify it. And I teach classes. I taught a bunch of classes in Florida on how to intuitive classes, connecting to your intuition and using that for these other modalities because that's the center of it all. So I teach that, and I've started a Substack writing articles on that. And because I'm not bored enough, I have developed and started a podcast, which is very rough, but it's my way of, I left the corporate world, but I'm not stupid and I refuse to just die. And so I just keep learning new stuff. And right now it's production of podcasts. And so it's called Unapproved because my brother, when my mother passed away, knowing what I do for a living now, he does not approve of it. And so I took that and ran with it. And so I think I gave you everything. And now I'm trying to find my circle in North Carolina that doesn't feel like it's weird, dramatic, over the top, extreme. I'm looking for people who treat this as a profession, who respect it as a service. I don't want anybody competing. I like to, I'm a sharer, so I will apologize in advance because I tend to give a lot of information because so many lifetimes and experiences in my 53 years. So I try to share with everybody because I'm an empath and I don't want you to go through pain. Ta-da!
Well, thank Very you. nice.
Thank you.
Ellen, did you get it?
Yes, hi. And hello to Diane and Carolyn. It's nice to see faces I know. I am Ellen Morrison. My company is ELM Wellness. I do sound healing with tuning forks, and I do sound baths with Himalayan bowls. I'm also a Holy Fire Reiki teacher and practitioner. I also do NLP, and I'm glad to hear somebody else does NLP because nobody usually knows what that is. And I'm also a nutritionist, so I do nutrition counseling as well. Unfortunately, I have a class that I have to get to, so I'm going to have to sign off in a minute, but I appreciate the ability to meet all of you, and hopefully the next meeting I'll be able to stay longer.
Okay, awesome.
Thank
And if
you
you,
for doing
if you want to, if you don't have if I don't have your email address already, why don't you send that our way, and then we can, make sure you're on the list and whatnot. So,
Are you guys
Okay.
yeah, I'm posting them in our social network,
Okay, good.
like our.
Because like her presentation would
Yep.
be useful for people to think too.
Emmy, do you want to go? Or are you driving? I don't want to call on people off camera if they don't want to.
Hey, no, I'm okay. Hi, my name is Mary Elizabeth Gonda. I go by Emmy. Gonda LLC is my business name. I like to call myself a spiritual nurturer, meaning I like to help with soul connections, guide soul connections through either intuitive readings or Reiki healing, and I'm also studying right now to become a professional astrologer when I grow up, and that's about it for me. I wanted to keep it short because I know you guys are trying to do stuff. So yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
Is that Brianna?
Yeah.
Are you able to? Oh, hi.
Hi, my name is Brianna. I am I guess formerly a nurse, but I am currently a health and life coach, Reiki practitioner. I do tarot and oracle card readings, and I'm working on getting hypnotherapy under my belt. I feel like I'll be one of the people, well, one of the numerous people that has a laundry list of things that they do. We're getting there.
Collect them all.
Yeah. And I ended up finding this group through Carolyn. Hi, Carolyn. I don't know if you can see me. Hi. And she was like, "Oh my gosh, there's this group. It's so exciting. It's on Tuesday." And I was like, "I'm going. I want to hear what they have to say. It sounds interesting." So here I am.
Thank you. First time.
Yeah.
Donna? She's working on the mute button.
I think you're still on mute.
She always does it like she's on her phone.
I wonder if I can unmute. No. Oh, maybe she'll come.
All right,
Come back.
she just left. Probably unintentionally.
There she
Oh,
is.
there she is. Figure it out yet?
It still looks like you're muted.
Mm,
Do you see a microphone
it's
button?
probably at the it's probably at the bottom of the phone. I think it's at the bottom. Right?
Yeah, it's at the bottom.
If you just like tap the screen, then on the bottom it might show up. No. I think we should Karen should give your profile. So we just here's Donna. This is what she does. All right. Well, just for the sake of time, I'm going to switch places with Yoli, and then Yoli's going to present human design for us today.
Super.
Yay.
Yeah. I can help you with props or anything you need.
Actually, I just brought some.
Human design.
Yeah. Awesome. Really nice.
Show up our
And
no, you're not. Okay.
just some takeaways for you guys. It's not anything I'm really going to go
Okay.
into, but some takeaways for you guys. And for those of you that are watching, I can absolutely send a PDF of,
Awesome. Yeah. If we could grab the email addresses, we'll get that out too. Perfect.
of the Bill of Empowerment. I'm known for coming up with sparkly and catchy titles for things. So we've got the Bill of Rights. Currently I've got a freebie called the Self-Love Bill of Rights, but I just distributed the Human Design Bill of Empowerment. So before I get started, I don't need to introduce myself again.
No.
I'd like to know what you guys, where the temperature on human design. So what are you guys, what are you looking to get out of this? And what your level of experience or knowledge is?
I have no experience with it, so I'd love to know what it is.
Okay, same.
I've heard a lot about it and I'm very interested in learning more.
Okay, all right, super.
Same.
Okay.
I am a generator, and that's all I know.
Manifest or something.
Okay,
Yeah.
Mr. Something.
I'm a generator looking for my what's the one that does manifestor, right?
Manifested generator.
I'm a generator looking for my manifestor.
Looking for your manifest. Okay. All right, wonderful. Well, I'm glad to be here. And if you do not have your human design chart, you don't actually need it for tonight, but you can go to my website and download it. Just yoliray.com, get human design chart. And your birth details, you will need to know your date, time, and location of birth. And when your chart comes up, be sure to hit the download PDF so you get all of the details that go with it, the explanations for all of this. So I have an open head center, so I'm going to pull up my notes, or we'll be chasing squirrels all night. So I
We
want to
do
give
have a question that popped up. What happens if you don't know the time of your birth?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so if you don't know the time of your birth, do you know approximate time?
You could use muscle testing to zero down to the. That's what I
Okay,
did.
so here you can use muscle testing to zero it down.
Yeah.
Or you can send it to me and I can do a birth time range. And so what happens is I pull your birth details, I pull your chart and get the range for the day, for the whole 24-hour period, and see what changes over that time. But if you can get in the ballpark, it's really, really helpful to narrow it down. And then some things will feel aligned and some won't. So we can kind of play with it from that perspective. So, okay. So what is it? What is it? What is human design? Human design is the antithesis of 5 ancient modalities.
the chakra system, the Chinese I Ching, the Kabbalah tree of life, astrology, quantum physics, and science. And
I don't know.
and it's okay.
It was somebody's birthday.
There you go. He's still looking for your birthday.
There you go. Human design is the compilation of all of these ancient modalities. And so it's very, very detailed. When you pull up your birth chart, or your body graph, it's called a body graph, there are literally hundreds of pieces of information there. So typically, if you meet with a human design reader, you're not going to get it all in one reading, and you don't want to get it all in one reading. So typically, we'll have like a mini reading or an introductory level, a foundational reading, which is usually, for me, it takes about 90 minutes, and then there's an advanced reading. The advanced reading, it's important that your birth time is accurate. For the most part, you can get everything that you would get in a foundational reading if your birth time is a little bit off. Like you got it in the ballpark, but it's not the exact time. But for an advanced reading, you definitely want to have your birth time.
So what's a ballpark like? If you know you're an afternoon baby, but you don't have the exact time, is like
Right.
1 to 3 enough?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So
Okay.
like,
It's not bad.
yeah, like 1 to 3 would get you in the ballpark.
Okay.
Trying to think, it shifts over like it's either 6 or 8 different shifts that happen.
In a 24-hour
Mhm.
period? All right.
Yeah. So, what human design is, it's a self-awareness tool, right? So when I was alluding earlier that this was kind of the missing piece, trying to figure out like through NLP, I just went full on into the subconscious mind, and all of these other things I was finding that I was doing really helpful with my clients. But if you don't have a starting point or a baseline of who you are, that self-acceptance, self-awareness and self-acceptance piece, which is what human design was able to give to me, you don't have that baseline of this is who I am and I'm fully embracing it, and how do I move forward, release the blocks, release the programming, the conditioning. Without that foundational piece of who am I, and am I able to accept myself as I am? And that's the identity part of human design. So it teaches us who we were designed to be, who we came here to be, and what we came here to do. And when you start peeling back some of the layers of who said about the layers of the onion, with human design, it's, the more you uncover, right? So you really honing in and getting you aligned with who you were designed to be. So what human design is not, it is not a belief system or a religion. It is not another personality test that you try to fit yourself into. And it's not a way to box you in by labels, even though there are labels, right? It's not a way to box you into that. With human design, you have the entire chart. So when you pull your chart, there are going to be some parts that are defined. Those are the parts that are colored in. And then there's going to be the parts that are undefined. And those are the parts that are not colored in. They're white, right? But you have the entire chart. The defined parts of you are consistent energy. You have them all the time. The undefined parts of you become activated when you're in the energy of someone who has that aspect of defined, or through the transits, some people call the cosmic weather. Right? So
Cosmic weather,
Define other people that like they're mirroring.
the defined and the undefined. Once you begin to, as I said, uncover the parts of you that are naturally aligned, like the consistent energy, and you're able to own that.
what I hear most often from people that I give readings to is that like human design is not here. It's not going to tell you who you are or who you're supposed to be. It's really more about giving you language, permission, or validation to things that you already know about yourself or intuitively feel about yourself, but the world has told you, no, you need to do it this way, or you need to behave this way. And so human design gives you that permission slip, I feel. For me, it was a permission slip. I've also heard it's clients say, oh, it's validating everything as to why I don't do things the way my sister does, or why my mom and I butted heads because I was trying to do something completely different or be a particular way that was completely different than the way they trying to teach me to be, right? You know? So yeah, so in human design so what I hope that you walk away with is inspiration to experiment with your human design type, and feel a little bit more knowledgeable about human design and empowered.
You got me, I'm going.
When you talk about what you're saying too, is it's really validating you as a soul, what you came in and you forgot.
Yeah, that's absolutely. Oh, I love it.
I
You
feel
said
like it's
that.
like a blueprint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like our blueprint, like
Yeah.
instructions to, I got to be here.
Yeah.
And we forget our blueprint.
Yeah. Well, of course. Isn't that the game?
Oh, yes.
You know what I mean? Isn't that why we joined? You know what I mean?
Good point.
I feel like there should be a matchmaking service, honestly. I feel like that should be
Yes.
With the
right.
human design?
Can
Oh,
we do
man.
that?
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
so there are, you can do connection charts or relationship
Oh,
chart
really?
readings, yeah.
And
And so,
I know.
I know, I figured it was the man part of the manifesto she was talking
yeah,
about.
So just question. So do you use this, is it like computer based? Is it intuitively based? Is it astrology based or all the things?
so there is an astrological component to it. It is I have to have my computer to run the chart.
Right.
So it is, and it's based on your birth details.
Mhm.
So I've heard people compare human design to like other personality tests, like Enneagram or Myers-Briggs or DISC. I take a little bit of an issue with that. Even though those tests feel very accurate, like I'm an Enneagram 7, I do believe. I do believe that. And but when we take those tests, we're taking them through the lens of our conscious experience. And human design is based on your birth details. So you're not overthinking the questions, right? You're not putting yourself into it at all. And that's what I love about that, because you can take that Enneagram test 10 years from now and get a different result. Your human design never changes, but the way you experience it does change over time, because the more you uncover, the more you uncover. So depending on where you are in your self-discovery journey, in your human design experiment, there's a lot of language in human design. That will determine how you are experiencing it at that time. So, but the foundational things never change. Your type, strategy, authority never changes. Your defined centers, they will change with the transits. Your defined gates will change with the transits when you have access to the things that are not defined. Does that make sense?
And what part do you intuitively add on?
Oh, that's a great question.
Yeah.
I think the way I deliver my readings, based on what the client's looking for. So the way I do a personal energetics reading versus a personal brand energetics reading, the way it flows is just intuitive off of how
Where it guides you. Yeah.
And I'm guessing too, what you're saying is this is what we were born with, but because of free will, it didn't always go the way.
As you feel that feeling.
Because of free will, because of, and you're absolutely right. This is who we came here to be before the world got a hold of us and told us who we should be. So because of conditioning, societal conditioning, peer conditioning, familial conditioning, all of the things that we're taught to fit into the box, to be accepted, to be liked, to just fit in general. That's where the conditioning comes in. And so in human design, we call that the deconditioning process of peeling back the layers is called deconditioning process, to get to who you're truly aligned to be.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We just have one comment from Diane. She says, John Edwards says this is one of the most important pieces he learned for himself.
Oh yeah. And I would second that for myself too.
You kept going back to.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
It was the first thing I did on my spiritual journey, actually. It was a friend recommended me do this, and I think it has given me a good framework for how I work in the world too.
Mhm.
You know, just like again, knowing that you're a generator, you're like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, and then like I was keeping up with it for a while, like the different transits and things. But it's like a good reading of like you were saying about the weather, but like almost of yourself, you know, like how you should interact in the world, like
a map.
day to day.
Yeah, like a map.
Yeah. Yeah. That's actually, yeah, we call it your soul map.
Yes.
Yeah. You are some core principles, design principles. Deconditioning is a journey. It's not a destination, so it's a process that takes place over time. You are perfectly designed. This is my favorite one. You are not broken. No one got half the chart and someone else got the other half. You have the whole chart. You are a complete, perfect being. So there's nothing about you that needs to be fixed. All types are equal and essential. There's no type, profile, or design that is better than the other. And I have a really good analogy I've been working on, so I'm going to share that with you about all our parts in the collective.
I like that you said you have the whole map, because there are people out there that think I'm waiting on my soulmate and then I can finish the puzzle. No, you are the whole puzzle already.
It's hard to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to get there.
You are here to live as yourself. Human design is about becoming who you are already designed to be, not becoming someone else. And there are no absolutes in human design. So just because you are, and this is two-part, don't let me forget the second part. Just because you have one aspect of your chart defined doesn't mean that you absolutely operate by that definition, or you're wrong, right? Or there's something wrong. You can experience it very differently. Again, based on where you are in your design, in your experiment, and the fact that we have the entire chart. So there are 5 energy types. There are 7 authorities, and each energy type has a strategy. So I say that because of the 5 energy types, let's say you're a generator, but there may be manifestor frequencies in there that have you operating well like a manifestor in certain circumstances. I'm a manifesting generator, but I have certain channels that are projected channels. And so for me to really feel the full strength or power of that channel, I need to approach it like a projector. That makes sense?
Absolutely. I hate to cut you off. We have about 5 minutes left in this awesome meeting.
Okay. All right. So let me get to my
time flies when you're having fun.
yeah, I know. All right. So
There's 5 energy types. And I want you to imagine that, who here likes a good movie? Yeah, this is where this all kind of stuff is. So work with me. So we have the manifester. The manifester is the director, right? They are the first to arrive on the set. They've got this vision that they are going to cast, and they initiate and see what others can't yet see. So they say, here's the story that we're going to tell. Everyone perks up to listen to the manifester. And the thing about the manifester is here to, again, initiate and inform. They don't need permission. This is what I'm going to do. This is what we're going to do. And then they go for it. But they are not designed to build things, right? So they call things into action. The director says action, and the cameras start rolling. The generator is the cinematographer. The generator is the one that brings the vision to life, right? So they are the steady hands. Let's catch that light. Okay, this is perfect right now. They are here to respond. So that's their strategy, is to respond.
To the energy being projected.
To respond to all of the stimuli, all of the things. That's how they know what's truly in alignment for them is, or how to, let me rephrase that. When we think about how we move through the world, how we interact with other people, how we interact with the universe and bring in the most aligned opportunities, that's our strategy. Generator strategy is to respond. Manifestor strategy is to initiate. Okay, initiate and inform. A word on the response. A lot of people think that, oh, I've got to wait to have something to respond to. Especially if you're a business owner, it's like, okay, I've got to wait for people to come to me. How do I put myself out there if I've got to wait for people to come to me? Waiting to respond is not you're not sitting on the sidelines, just kind of like, there are things that you can do to put yourself out there without, it's not a passive sport, right? So you're not sitting there just kind of waiting for opportunity to come knock on the door. It's not going to happen, right? So you still got to put yourself out there and engage so that you can have things to respond to. So what that might look like practically is posting a question of the day or putting out a poll on social media and seeing what people, how people respond. And then you have a response to that. Mm-hmm. So response, when I say responding to everything, we respond to paintings on the wall. You came in and had a response to the crystals when you left it. So that's what I mean by responding. Manifesting generators also operate in the same way. On the movie set, the manifesting generator, which I am, is the editor and the special effects person, right? So manifesting generators have the ability to multitask and follow the things that they get excited and lit up by, and that's what they're here to do. To the outside, how much? To the outside, I've got 2 more types.
2 more minutes.
Okay. So, to the outsider, because manifesting generators can move very quickly and multitask and jump back and forth between things, we may look like to the outside that we're all over the place, that we don't know, we don't finish things, like we just can't get it together. But that's not the case. We can do and complete things and finish things. We just are designed to follow the things that light us up, that excite us, and all of them. Maybe not all at the same time, but sometimes 3, 4, 5 things. The projector is the producer. All right, so the producer says, all right, let's pause here. We need to shift this scene. They walk on the set. They walk quietly. They don't carry a big stick, but they have this very quiet authority, the ability to see things from a high level perspective that most people you can't see. So they kind of zoom out with that wide lens and they can kind of see everything that's going on. So they are here to guide and advise, not grind. They're not here to grind. And then the last one is the reflector, and that is the film critic or the audience oracle, right? So we meet the reflector, and the reflector starts walking through the set, kind of like a mirror, reflecting back to us what's healthy, what's good, what's working, what's not. And that their strategy is a sampling strategy. They're designed here to wait like a full lunar cycle so they can experience everything. So on the set, they're walking through and they're experiencing everything, everyone's energy.
Thank you so much.
That was awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm still perfecting it.
Oh my gosh, that was awesome.
So if I can leave you with this one question, what role are you designed to play and what role are you trying to play?
Yeah, I love this one.
All right, well, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's do that.
Good job.
Okay, great. So we try to the meetings that we've held to this point, we try to keep to like an hour and a half, hour 15 minutes. But we had this one scheduled, and then we have to leave this shop before like around now. So it just got cut short this time. So we'll have to adjust the times for the different locations that we're at. So we're trying to bounce around and do like some during the day, some in the evenings and whatnot. But trying to think of how I can concisely end this because there's lots of new people here. And I think that, so just real quick, there's an agenda that you guys have and there's an agenda online. So you can like flip through this on your time outside of here. But basically, Healers Unite, the way we started, we talked about the directory, we talked about there's an online social network. The recording of this meeting is in the social network. It's like a membership required. You have to like set up a login, but that's it. It's free, and it's kind of like a social media site with just the people that join, right? So it's just for us. So the goal is to have those two working together to kind of build this community of healers. And then underneath there, we have these projects, is what we're calling them. And we are trying to build up our presence locally. So with that, we're trying to do, personally, we're trying to do like some fun meetups and some giving back in the community. So those are two of the groups that we're going to try to build to start, coming up with plans for those. And then the other two are kind of more businessy, where we're trying to come up with a group that is helping to design and push out advertisements to the community, and also a podcast / talk show is what I'm calling it, because I think talk show sounds more fun. So we're working on that also. So there is a link we'll be sending out. If you all haven't received an email from us, it comes from the Healers Unite NC Gmail. If you haven't received that email, then send your email our way. The email is, healersunite.nc@gmail. It might be in here somewhere. But yeah, so send us your email. We'll get you on the mailing list. It announces these meetings. We aren't spammers. We don't have the capacity to do that. But we also have a sign up list for these projects. So that's really where we're focusing now, is trying to get, I think Diane she said, I love a subcommittee. And I was like, thank you. Thank you. That is exactly what we're trying to do, is kind of, get us all working on these different projects so we can really build up our presence. So, and meet people and hang out and not be weird around outside. We could be weird.
If you haven't signed up for the directory, please do so.
Okay. Oh yeah, and the directory currently is free until free for 6 months until the end of May. So we ask you to sign up for that too. Again, everything that we are going to do to promote is going to push to the directory to then build up everybody's presence and hopefully.
Where did you say go to sign up for a?
I'm not sure where the link is. I think it's in here. Here it is. So it's in the link tree. Here's the form thing.
Okay.
But it's also in one of, if you've received an email, it's in one of the emails also.
Okay.
And then I put in here too, if you just want to look over it, just kind of like, what does this time commitment look like? Yada yada. So All right, so
Very
a
good.
little short, but thank you,
Thank
Yoli,
you.
so
Yeah,
much
that was
for
amazing.
That was
presenting.
great.
That
That was
was-
fantastic.
Yeah, we're trying to get to know a little bit about what all the type of healing modalities are. So
Yeah.
let's see. Featured healing.
Thanks,
sport.
everybody. That was
Thank
awesome.
you. So thank you so much. All right.
Bye, guys.
Thank you guys.
I didn't get a chance to
Oh,
introduce
sorry.
herself, but she has a meetup next week. She's asking healers to come together. Donna, are you able to unmute yourself? I think she's.
Hello,
Hey.
can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi. What was your question, Karen?
Next week you have you're asking healers to join for the crossing over event that you have.
Yes, I'm starting a spirit crossing meetup. We'll meet up right here at Energessence, and it's for people who have a love or a heart's desire to help those souls who are lost find their way home. Any modality you practice is absolutely perfect. It's just a way for us to come together with that intention, I believe, is so very, very important. So eventually I'll figure out, as you could tell, I'm not very tech savvy, but eventually we could also do a hybrid between Zoom, and so you don't have to be in person. But this is our first one. It's on the 16th at 6 o'clock, right here in the room where you're sitting. And I hope you can join me, or maybe in the future when I can get the Zoom link all established.
And do you need to have any skills? So if we know anyone can join.
Any modality.
Well,
Yeah.
you know, I hate to say, I mean, I believe everybody is a healer if your intention is pure and through your heart. But, you know, not everybody has learned how to cross people over. I have a lot of modalities and I've learned different techniques, but I even believe a person that just like says, I would really like to help with that. I believe they will be able to do that. So I put the meetup out for healers. However, I'm willing to definitely help aid a person in a way that they can also do that.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Donna.
And
You're welcome.
go to the directory and check out the events page where Donna's events and Energessence events are posted.
That's right.
Can anybody post events on the events page?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. So use that
Use
code.
the same code,
Yeah.
shine on. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
This was great.
Oh, thank you so much. Yes, you too. Yes. Okay. So I one of the things that we were talking about, because you